Hello, I'm Lynn Rogers, author of Born in Berkeley and 11 other locally set nonfiction and fictional novels. Born in Berkeley is the story of a young girl who takes to the road from an affluent Bay Area home that's somewhat dysfunctional and finds herself on the road hitchhiking past Big Sur, Mexico, and at the heart of the Berkeley anti-Vietnam movements, the civil rights movements. She's always the youngest person present. It's based on my life and the lives of young women of my time. In that journey, I had the good fortune to meet Neal Cassady, Ken Kesey, Mountain Girl. Neal Cassady was unknown to me at the time, but my boyfriend who was traveling with me knew that he was the hero of Jack Kerouac's On the Road that had broken into print in 1957. Now it's the 60s, and he had been adopted by author Ken Kesey, who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and started some of the very counterculture, controversial musical movements in San Francisco. I found myself a young girl in their enclave in Manzanillo, Mexico, long ago. I'd like to read to you a segment of the book about being in Berkeley from chapter 14. It was fall. I ran, tore down Telegraph Avenue. After several weeks of not hearing from Norris, the young boy from Mexico, I'd called his mother's place on the Berkeley-Oakland border. In Berkeley now I ran, in golden yellow corduroy pants and an orange sweater, ran down Telegraph Avenue at a breakneck speed, hair flying out behind me. At the university gate, a man with a beard caught up to me. "I've been watching you," he said with eyes that looked like he was on a trip. "You're the only young person here." Since the new slogan was "Don't trust anybody over 30, that was a big compliment. Of course, I was only 17. I smiled, pacing at the signal, in a hurry, waiting for the light to change. He stared in adulation. It wasn't odd for strangers on trips to make cosmic connections. "You can come too," he looked sorrowful. "I didn't mean that." He'd taken it wrong, thought I was responding to an advance. I felt bad. I didn't want to interrupt his vision. But when the light turned green, I tore through the clot of students and streaked off down Ashby like a flame. I've written other books that carry my journey from the Berkeley days forward. The first one is Born in Berkeley, of course, written about the 60s. Then came Where the Rainbow's Daughter, which is about a spiritual search group in the 70s. Then came Where the Flowers Have Gone, when ill-fated lovers in the 80s take a journey back to that pivotal period between the Beats and the hippies. Then Shadow Over the Beach in the 90s, and Revenge of the Goddess, Parting the Veil. And at the millennium, A Burst of Sunrise, Side Roads, Swan Again, which deal with soulmates with 60s values meeting again at midlife. I also wrote a nationally acclaimed book, Alviso, San Jose, part of Arcadia's Images of America series. And I wrote a standalone mystery, A Valley of Ashes, which was very well received by Gary Singh of Metro, who gave me the great compliment of telling me that one day my books would put San Jose on the literary map, much as Hemingway's and others had done for other sites. I also wrote a book on women's spirituality. My interest in these times is because not so much of the drug movement, which for me actually was not a positive thing to observe, but it's because of the explosion of creativity, spontaneity, spontaneous writings, the music, the color. My home still reflects my work as an artist. It's hard for me not to create because of the times that I lived through. I hope you have a chance to read Born in Berkeley.